Hey, Danny, when it comes to you and Pitt, it almost feels like you two rose at a very similar time. Just what has that been like from your position to kind of rise in conjunction with one another and be directly competing against each other while doing it?
I mean, I feel like I've been asked this question a lot in the past 3 years because we've done similar things, and every year it comes up. So just saying that it's just very appreciative that we have each other, because I'm not sure one of us could have done it without the other. And just the rise of the ACC has also really helped and allowed us to get bigger and more physical athletes. But the one thing, thinking about our rivalry that I find interesting, and I don't think people think about, is like when we started the rise, both of Pitt and us had to have a little extra something. Neither one of us had top 10 recruits. We needed that extra edge, and I think it's rare that both of us have been able to keep that while also getting top recruits. And so I think that's what's made our programs really special, is we're getting top recruits, but we're also playing with that same edge and I would say swag that we were before.
Left side, second row.
Danny, obviously emotion came out for you in the last match. We saw you celebrating with the team. Obviously, you have your players out here talking about their connection with you. I guess just talk about how special this particular group is this year and how you guys have all connected together and how important that has been on and also off the court.
Yeah, I think this team really took a little work. Whenever you have new pieces, like we brought in Charity last year, Sophia this year, we have freshmen playing big roles. So it wasn't just so seamless. And then, so when you accomplish something great, you know that hard work really paid off. And I think this team worked together so well and had to be selfless for the entire year for it to work and for us to be here. And that's what made it really special. But on top of that, just the talk of Louisville hosting the Final Four and them believing in it, and whether at the time they thought it was a big deal or not, they've been carrying that with them for 4 years. And it was a special moment that we made it. And I know how hard it is to make a Final Four. They do too. And it's no guarantee whether they're hosting or not. A lot of things have to go right. You have to have a little luck. You have to play great in the right moments. So just that it came together and we were able to be back here hosting, just a really big deal and something very few, if any, coaches and players ever get to experience.
Left side, back row.
Danny, what do you remember as a player get into an experience, a Final Four like you did in Omaha?
It's funny, as a player, I don't really remember much. It's just like you're in La La Land. But I just remember really feeling like the crowd helped us so much in Omaha, and that we were able to feed off that. And I remember more about the Final Four there that I wasn't a part of, when Nebraska lost to Penn State, and I was like calling radio or something, and that was crazy with the crowd. But I just remember it's like the hoopla, it's a little bit extra, and I think that is good because you really realize just how many people are behind you. And I think that's what our players are probably feeling like with their families and friends and people and reaching out and giving them advice, telling them they're going to be here. So it just, the Final Four is already a big deal, but it just adds a little bit of extra fun and excitement when there's so many people that have access to see it.
Okay, right side, second row.
Olivia Babcock has 45 kills in the 2 matches you've played. Is there anything that you can do to limit her impact on a match?
I think it's tough. She's going to get her kills. She's a great player. She's extremely physical. So we'll do our best with the game plan, but you can do everything perfectly against Babcock, and she's still going to kill the ball. So we just have to weather that storm and hope offensively that we can match some of that intensity. But I think your plan cannot be to slow her down. You got to find other ways to win.
Oh, left side.
Danny, there's a native Nebraskan on every roster. You have 2 of them on yours. I mean, when you, as one yourself, when you hear that, what does that make you think? And what is about the state, not the school, the state, that makes volleyball so special there?
I just think the impact the Nebraska program has on the youth and the culture of volleyball in the state just makes people want to be a part of it. And I think players start playing at a young age, and they take a lot of pride in how they're playing. And on top of that, the club coaches and high school coaches in the state of Nebraska are excellent. And so players are improving and getting better at a faster rate than a lot of states because of that, and a lot of it's because of the coaching. But I didn't know that until I saw it. I think probably a tweet that there's a native Nebraskan on every team, and I wonder if that's ever been done before. But it's pretty cool, and I like to shout out Kentucky too a lot now that I'm here, and how good the volleyball is in the state of Kentucky. So I think it's pretty unique that 2 states are so well represented.
Back to the right side here on the aisle, Tyler.
I think you kind of stole my thunder with that question, the last part of that answer. But speaking to it, you have 2 Louisville natives on your roster. Kentucky continues to put out top programs and top recruits. What do you want the nation to see about Louisville as a volleyball community and Kentucky's place in this sport when you have this kind of an opportunity?
Well, I think just hosting the Final Four and seeing the crowd, and not just people that are in the stands, but is there media here? That's one thing that's really important. Are there going to be people out and about enjoying the event throughout the day? Are they? I just want people in the country to know that volleyball is a big deal in this state, and it'll continue to be a big deal. And that's how you grow a program, and that's how you sustain it, is when people care. And I think the chance for the Final Four to be here is a chance for us all to show that we care about the sport and want to be a big part of growing it.
2 questions still on the right, and then we're coming back to the left, back row.
Dani, first of all, how many requests for tickets from friends, family, anybody have you gotten this week? And just can you speak to how difficult it is for some people to get? I mean, this is a big event, and it's here.
I've had a lot of people be like, "Oh, your crowd's going to be incredible." I'm like, "Well, you forget it was sold out." Months ago. It was sold out, I think, in a day or 2 days. I don't know what the actual stats were. So it's not like Louisville fans just jumped on Ticketmaster after we won and were able to get a great seat. Now, hopefully they're found ways to get in the game and through connections. But yeah, I've had a lot of requests, and I have no doubt that it's going to be packed. And I'm hoping the diehard Louisville fans found their way in and didn't have to pay too much for a good seat.
Okay, right side, second row.
Dani, what would you cite as the most recent example of that extra edge that you referred to earlier?
I would say there's maybe a couple, like the win over UNI just as a whole, and when a team is just playing unbelievable, UNI really was playing unbelievably well, and we couldn't do anything to slow them down, and we pride ourselves in being a great defensive team, and we couldn't do anything. The look in our team's eyes was different, and I felt like Anna DeBeer, she took over some huddles and in the locker room and really willed us to win. And if you don't have a player like that feels confident and is able to show that emotion, maybe you don't win that game. And then, we have Sophia is new to our team, and against Stanford, she played amazing, and you saw some of that edge come out. And I think a part of that hopefully is what she's learned while she's here, and learned she can be herself and show some of that, and that she's going to need to do that to beat the best teams in the country.
Left side, second row, Dusty.
Dani, obviously your connection with Anna is special, and even just what we saw up there too, the talk between the 2 of you guys, it goes beyond the court. To have her come back and have the impact on this team that she has, how special was that for you to have her come back to this team, and what kind of role across the board has she played this year to get you guys to this point?
And we wouldn't have let her leave, so it was like her only option to come back. But I think with the COVID year and her injury, it really was a no-brainer, and then you throw the icing on the cake that the Final Four's here, and we're returning a great team. I think it wasn't much of a conversation for her to come back. I think without her, we wouldn't be sitting here, obviously, and just the role she's played this year is much more of a leadership role and a maturity role, and she's really helped the rest of the team understand that this is a big deal, but also help prepare them for what to expect. And I think it gives everybody a little more confidence when you have somebody like her who's been through it and been through a lot of different things in her career, and she's been through these Final Fours. So I just feel like the team is much more prepared than we have been in the past.
Front row here, right side. Couple more.
Coach, whenever you're scouting for Pitt, you've played them multiple times. You're very familiar with them. How do you not over scout for this game since you already know what they're going to do, but some things might change?
Yeah, that's what we do. We try not to over scout. It's like, again, I got asked about Babcock. We know what she's gonna do. That's not a matter of knowing. It's like if you can stop it, and maybe we'll get a little break and she'll hit 1 or 2 balls out of bounds. I don't know. That's like what. But I think it's interesting the way we both played in the 2 games were a little bit different, and some of the game plans you can tell were different in the first 2 games, and we ended up losing both. So it's like, well, we got to change something and really decide what we're going to do. But I think it's more focusing on our side of the net going into Thursday than focusing on what Pitt's doing. And the team that executes the best is going to win.
Yeah. Stay on the front row here, right side.
Coach, your team and Pitt are obviously 2 of the better serving teams in the country. How important will serve receive be tomorrow night?
Probably one of the most important things.
All right. Last question over on the left side.
Dani, I know this is not your favorite thing to talk about, but there still hasn't been a female head coach to win a national championship in D1 women's volleyball. What do you think needs to happen for that to change and for there to be female coaches every year at the Final Four?
I mean, we're getting closer, right? So I was just told there's like a 62% chance because if us and Penn State win, that goes up to 100. So we're getting there, that there's more. And I think there's more female coaches that are staying in the game longer and more female coaches that are getting the opportunity to take over these storied programs. And we're not having to start from, the bottom or start at a program, a mid-major, and then take a mid-major up and then get a chance at a Power 5. I think that will help as just more opportunities. But hopefully it starts this week. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything I can do or Katie can do at Penn State. It's more just being consistent and really encouraging other women to stay in the sport and to go for it and showing them that they can do it too.